Huh?
The Terminator.
The intermediate value theorem states that if a function is continuous on a closed interval, ab, and takes on values f, a, and fb at the endpoints a and b, then for any value y between f, a, and fb, there exists a value c in the interval, ab, such that f, c, equals y. In other words, the intermediate value theorem guarantees the existence of at least one point in the interval where the function takes on any intermediate value between its endpoint values. Taylor series is a mathematical technique used to represent a function as an infinite sum of terms that are derived from the function's derivatives at a particular point. It allows us to approximate a complex function using a simpler one, which can be easier to work with. The series can be used to approximate the function at any point in its domain by evaluating a finite number of terms in the series. The fundamental theorem of calculus is a fundamental result in calculus that connects the concepts of differentiation and integration. It states that if a function is continuous on a closed interval, and if we define another function by integrating the original function from a fixed point in the interval to a variable point, then this new function is differentiable, and its derivative is equal to the original function. In other words, differentiation and integration are inverse operations. Fourier transform is a mathematical technique used to decompose a complex signal into its individual frequency components. It converts a signal from the time domain into the frequency domain, providing information about the frequency content of the signal. The resulting frequency spectrum shows the strength of each frequency component, which is useful in analyzing and processing signals. Set theory is a branch of mathematics that deals with the study of sets, which are collections of objects. Sets can be defined by listing their elements or by specifying conditions that define the membership of elements in the set. Operations such as union, intersection, and complement can be performed on sets to create new sets. Set theory provides a foundation for many areas of mathematics and is widely used in computer science, statistics, and other fields. The axiom of choice is a fundamental principle in mathematics that states that given any collection of non-empty sets, it is possible to choose one element from each set. This seemingly simple statement has far-reaching implications in many areas of mathematics, particularly in set theory and analysis. The axiom of choice is widely accepted by mathematicians and is a cornerstone of modern mathematics. However, it is also controversial and has been the subject of much debate and discussion over the years. I decided to ask what is the power cardinality of the set of all subsets of the set if it is finite and contains n elements. If A is a finite set of cardinality n, then the cardinality of the set of all its subsets is equal to 2n. To understand why this is the case, we need to pay attention to the fact that there are only two options for each element when constructing any subset of A, either include it in the subset or exclude it. Since A has a total of n elements, we get that there are 2n options in total, and each of these options corresponds to a unique subset of A. Therefore, there are a total of 2n subsets of A. The determinant is a numerical value associated with a square matrix. It has many important applications in linear algebra, such as determining invertibility, computing eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and solving systems of linear equations. Matrices are a way of representing linear transformations and systems of linear equations. They provide a powerful tool for performing calculations and analyzing the properties of linear systems. A linear mapping is a function that maps vectors from one vector space to another, while preserving certain algebraic properties, such as linearity and preservation of vector addition and scalar multiplication. Here I decided to ask how to geometrically show that matrix multiplication is not commutative. When we think of matrices as linear transformations, matrix multiplication corresponds to the composition of linear transformations. To show that matrix multiplication is not commutative, one can consider two linear transformations A and B, where A is a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation and B is a reflection across the x-axis. If we first apply A and then B, we get a different transformation than if we first apply B and then A. This example illustrates why matrix multiplication is not commutative. The law of large numbers is a fundamental concept in probability theory that states that as the number of trials in a random event increases, the average of the outcomes will approach the expected value of the event. In other words, the more times an experiment is repeated, the closer the observed results will be to the expected results. This is important in fields like statistics and finance, where it is used to analyze and predict outcomes based on large sets of data. The central limit theorem states that the distribution of the means of a large number of independent and identically distributed random variables approaches a normal distribution, regardless of the distribution of the individual variables. This means that the sum or average of a large number of observations tends to be normally distributed, which allows for the use of normal distribution-based statistical inference methods even when the underlying data is not normally distributed. A Markov chain is a mathematical model that describes a sequence of events where the probability of each event depends only on the current state of the system. It consists of a set of states and transition probabilities between those states, which determine the likelihood of moving from one state to another. The Markov property assumes that the future state of the system is independent of its past history, given the current state. Markov chains are commonly used to model a wide range of real-world processes, including weather patterns, financial markets, and biological systems. Conditional probability is the probability of an event occurring given that another event has occurred. It is calculated by dividing the probability of both events occurring by the probability of the event that has already occurred. In mathematical terms, if A and B are two events, the conditional probability of a given B is calculated as P of B equals P AB PB. The birthday problem, also known as the birthday paradox, is the probability that in a group of n people, at least two people have the same birthday. Despite intuition, this probability is surprisingly high for relatively small groups of people, increasing rapidly as the group size grows. Specifically, the probability exceeds 50% with just 23 people and reaches 99.9% with 70 people. Whole video was made by AI, even memes. But now it's our turn. Now we will play Pong. Follow Rocket with your finger. Congratulations, you petted the cat. Our dear friend A also wrote article in Russian. That's it for today. But soon,
I'll be back.